Greetings, people who really like the accordion. In a previous video titled Italo-American Accordion, number 2, the bass reeds, I talked about how the bass machine works in my 12 bass accordion and in my 120 bass accordion. But when I talked about how it works in a 120 bass accordion, I spoke in a kind of an abbreviated way, and I gave a very watered down example. So I'd like to go over that again quickly to make it clear, and I don't want to do a disservice to those people who showed me the accordion, showed me the inside, and helped me go through this to better understand what goes on inside the actual bass machine. So if we go back to the 12 bass accordion, that's what they call it. They call it the 12 bass accordion. In actuality, it's actually an accordion with 12 bass machine buttons. That's what it really is, but they call it 12 bass accordion. And here would be your bass rank or row, and here would be your major chord button rank, or some people call it a row. But either way, that's what you get. That's for an accordion with 12 bass machine buttons. All right? Doesn't actually have 12 literal bass buttons. All right. Now on your 120 bass accordion, that's what people call it. I have to line these papers up. On your 120 bass accordion, that's a typical name for it, you actually have 120 buttons. So in reality, that accordion is an accordion with 120 bass machine buttons. Use only the top rank or row and the second rank or row play bass tones. In other words, you have your counter bass row, that's what they call it, and you have your bass row. But there's essentially only 12 bass tones, and the rest of the buttons are kind of like what we call duplicates or repeats. All right? So now we understand that. And I showed you repeatedly that for the accordion, not for voice, the reed sets usually fall in this range. This is usually where they stand as far as pitch. Let's say alto, C4 to B4. This is just an example for an ordinary accordion, not the fancy ones. So if we took a register, a switch on your accordion, and it looked like this, right? You would have the reed sets employed would be those in the from the alto through the bass reed set range. Now here's a symbol I use, and here you can plainly see that you have your alto, contralto, tenor, and bass reed sets employed when you hit that switch. I talked about that before, but this is just a quick review so we make it perfectly clear what I'm talking about. Now, as an example here, let's say we have chosen that register switch, the one I just showed. That means 4 reed sets are available. Now here's an example to show the difference between the 12 bass and 120 bass. Especially the accordions that I have. These are the ones that I actually have. Now, you press a C button, a C bass button on the accordion. Right? You're pressing the C button. So on my 12 bass Italo-American, when I press that C button, a C bass tone and a tenor bass tone will sound, but no contralto or alto tones will sound. That's because of the way the mechanism is. It's the way it's set up. All right? I don't know if I made that clear in my other video, but when you press that C bass button on the 12 bass Italo-American and other brands, ordinarily you'll have a bass tone and a tenor tone will sound, but nothing from the contralto or alto reeds. Now, when you press a C major chord button on that very same accordion, right, then what will happen is you'll hear a whatever C tone is available in the alto reed set and whatever C tone is available in the contralto reed set, but no C tones will sound in the bass or tenor reed sets. You see, once again, let me say, when you press a C major chord button in that 12 bass accordion, that's what they call it, 12 bass, then any C's in the alto or contralto range will sound. They'll make a sound, air will pass through them, but nothing will happen through the bass and tenor reed sets. Nothing's going to happen. Now you might be able to understand that better, because I didn't go into detail in the other video. Now if you press in the C bass button on a 120 bass accordion, mine's an Atlas, okay, it's a brand name. Okay, when you press that C bass button, the C's, any C in these reed sets, all four, will sound. If there's any C's in there in those reed blocks, they're going to sound. So on mine, I'm going to get a bass C, a tenor C, contralto, and an alto. Now these are the same, and you can't tell the difference, but they're still being employed. Now if you press a C major chord button, on that 120 bass Atlas or any other brand, what'll happen is only the C's in the alto and contralto reed sets will sound. Nothing will come out of the tenor or bass reed sets. Only air passing through the alto and contralto will make a sound, but nothing's going to happen down here. Now let me just hold this in case you want to pause or print screen. But this is the difference. I didn't explain it as deeply and clearly in the previous video because I try to go fast and people say my videos take too long. But there you have that. Now if you want to learn more about this, go a little bit deeper. I have this video, Stradella bass accordion, number 5A, Stradella Reed Recognition. Actually there's 5A, 5B, and 5C, and that talks about it more in more depth, a little more detail. So I thank you for being patient, but I wanted to make that perfectly clear, and then I can move on to other stuff. That's it. Thank you again, and good night.